Hey guys, today's lesson falls into the category of dynamic drumming, and it's an approach to playing ghost notes. And I wish somebody taught me this when I started playing. I very recently got taught this by Mr. Don Lombardi from DW Drums. He showed me this technique, and the instant I took this to the kit, I realized that I've been wasting energy trying to do this in other ways around the kit for the past however many years I've been playing. What's it, 9 years, almost 10 years now. So it's one of those techniques that I really wish I learned when I started playing. And it's extremely simple. Basically, the way I approach this and the way that I appreciate this is the fact that it consolidates or combines two notes into one motion. So in essence, what I do here is I play a ghost note before an accent. But they're so close that if you make them two separate motions, then you're wasting energy. And that's exactly what I did. So usually when I try to do this, I would have to do two separate motions. Ghost note, accent, ghost note, accent. And the rad thing about this technique is that you combine it into one motion. And this is called the upstroke. So basically you produce the ghost note within the motion that you're going to have to do anyways to play the accent. So in that motion of playing the accent, just a small little change in the way that you're doing that produces that upstroke. So you're producing the ghost note on the upstroke. I'm actually going to stop explaining. I'll just show you exactly how it works, especially with regards to producing that upstroke slash ghost note before the accent in the same motion. So this is what it looks like. So you'll see it's one motion. I'm still playing that accent, but the ghost note is part of that motion. I'll actually just do exactly the same thing, but I'll separate the two notes by doing it extremely slowly. But just look at the motion of the front part of my arm. Everything, actually my whole arm. Just look at the motion that I'm making to produce that accent and how I include that little ghost note as an upstroke. I'm going to do exactly the same thing and just do it super slowly. So that's the motion. And as you can see, the rad thing about this is that it combines those two notes, two distinctly different sounds, a soft one and a loud one, into one motion. And I mean, we're playing a really physical instrument here. Drums is a really physical thing. So if we can streamline the way that we play and make it more efficient and save more energy by combining two different notes into one motion, then that's awesome. And like I said, when I got taught this and I took it to the kit, it felt incredible. I felt like I was missing out on this because it's just so simple when you actually apply this to the kit. So I'm going to use the exact same technique and just play it in a groove. I'll play on the ride so that I can keep my hands open, so that I can exaggerate that motion as much as possible to show you how I place that little up note, the little ghost note right before the accent by using the same motion. And it's a small little adjustment that you make in your wrist. For me, it's mostly in my wrist. I just pretty much relax my wrist on the way up. That's how I get that little ghost note. So I'll just play that within a groove. So that's using that technique within a groove. I played it kind of slow just to exaggerate the motion, but it sounds really, really cool when you get comfortable enough to be able to speed it up. Like I said, it's actually pretty incredible to combine those two sounds into one motion, because it sounds pretty difficult. The first time I heard this, I was like, how on earth do you get a soft note before a loud note? I mean, I can understand a soft note after a loud note, but this baffled my mind, but it's such a simple technique. So if you want to practice that, I would suggest starting slow, just getting used to relaxing your wrist on the way up to get that ghost note, get the muscle memory down, and then start putting into a really simple groove, and then slowly start speeding it up. The next thing I want to show you guys is the raddest application of this technique, and it's a little pattern that's kind of the same, but instead of playing one ghost note, I play two. And I've always heard guys play, and sometimes they would place the ghost notes in such a rad way, and I would go, how on earth are you doing that? But I guess I was just too proud to ask. And I wish somebody taught me this, like I said when I started playing, or I wish I was just not as proud and I just asked them what they were doing. But this little pattern is very new to me. I'd say probably the past 2 or 3 months or so that I've been playing this, but it's the coolest little thing. I've been using this everywhere, and I use exactly the same technique. So I produce a ghost note on the upstroke while I go up to actually hit that accent. But instead of playing one ghost note, I play two. So I just let the stick bounce twice, ta ta ta, and then I come down. But before I blabber too much again, I'm just going to play it and show you exactly how it looks. Like I said, this is my favorite application of the technique that I just showed you. So that's using exactly the same motion of doing that upstroke right before the accent, but this time I just let it bounce twice before I actually hit the accent. And the cool thing about this is you just have to do it long enough to be able to control the stick well enough, but you use exactly the same motion. It's one motion, but this time you're using it to produce 3 separate notes, 2 soft ones and 1 loud one. I'll just play that again. I'll do it as slowly as possible, and I'll try to exaggerate the motion as much as possible, just to show you exactly where I kind of let go of the stick, where I relax my wrist to get those 2 little ghost notes right before the accent. But I'll do the same thing. Actually, I'll just do it on the snare. I'm going to put the right hand stick down, and I'll just do it on the snare drum, no kick or anything else, just so that you can see what my wrist is doing to get those 3 separate notes. So a really important thing to concentrate on is that those 2 notes, specifically relating to this example, those 2 notes have to happen on the upstroke. So the way to kind of test yourself and see if you're doing this right is to just do it slowly and look at the tip of the stick. So put down the other stick and just do it with one hand, your non-leading hand, in this case my left hand, on the snare, and just look at the tip of the stick. So if the stick comes up before you hit that accent, I mean, on the way to playing those 2 ghost notes, if the first motion you make is this one, then you're not doing it right. You need to be so relaxed that when you drop down your wrist, the stick goes down immediately. It's part of the same motion. The essence of this technique is in relaxing and letting go of your wrist and letting the stick bounce. So the tip needs to go down. If you're going up, then you're manipulating the stick, and you shouldn't manipulate the stick if you don't need to. If the stick can manipulate itself by just using its own weight and kind of just dropping it on the drum, then you're not wasting any energy, and that's exactly what you should do with regards to this technique. So if you want to test yourself, do it slowly and look at the tip of the stick, and make sure that the first action, the first motion it makes is down on the way to produce those 2 ghost notes. So like I said in the beginning, this is extremely important. I know a lot of guys don't like technique lessons because it feels boring when you're practicing this on the kit, but the application of this is so worth it. Like I said, this really affected my playing in an enormous way, so much so that I really wish somebody taught me this when I started playing 10 years ago. It would have saved me so much time, and I actually kind of shuddered to think what my playing would have been like now if I just learned this a few years ago. So I can really hamper on this. It's very important, and seriously spend some time on getting that wrist nice and relaxed on the upstroke. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Just keep an eye on your inbox like always, and I'll send you some more lessons soon, and thanks for watching.